Tulsi Gabbard did an Ask Me Anything on Reddit yesterday, and I'm going to give you 10 things that you may not know about her. Hi, thanks for watching. Today, I want to give my review and tell you about some things that I learned from Tulsi Gabbard's Ask Me Anything. She did this yesterday on the Way of the Bern subreddit, which is a Bernie Sanders subreddit, but it's not specifically Bernie Sanders. It's more of the idea of Bernie Sanders. And I thought it was really cool that they asked her to do an Ask Me Anything. And if you're not familiar, what happens is they'll set up a particular time in a celebrity or politician, author, movie star, something like that. And people can submit their own questions, and they will go through and list and answer the questions that they want to answer. So that's kind of cool. They never have time to answer everyone's question, but in this case, she did a really good job and gave really long answers to many questions. And so I just want to go through 10 things that I found interesting from the event yesterday. Now, the first thing, and this hits me personally, is someone asked her if she skateboards. And she says that she does skateboard, she can skateboard, she's better at surfing than skating, but she does skateboard. And I thought that's pretty cool. You know, I skateboard every day. I've probably been skating longer than Tulsi's been alive, but and I'm probably much better at skating than I am surfing, but I'm here in Portland. We don't have waves, you know, right outside. I have to travel a bit to go surfing, and it's kind of a newer sport for me. But I thought that's pretty cool. You know, there's some candidates that pretend to skateboard. You may have seen that video. But I actually believe that Tulsi can skateboard. So I found that interesting. The second thing that was mentioned is she talked about members of Congress should be prohibited from ever being lobbyists. I hadn't heard her say this before. It is something that I agree with. It's something that I remember Trump actually talking about, that no one in his cabinet should be able to be a lobbyist for 5 years or so. I don't think he did anything with that, but that was one of the campaign promises. But I thought that that was something that is important. We don't want to have our politicians just going off and becoming lobbyists. It doesn't make the country a better place. So I found that interesting. The third thing from the AMA is she did address the DNC polls. You know, she's out of the next debate, but she did address it, and she talked about the Morning Consult poll, the latest poll, where in early states she was polling at 4%, double what she needs to for a DNC-approved poll, tied with Pete Buttigieg, and higher than Andrew Yang, Cory Booker, Amy Klobuchar, and Beto O'Rourke. So, yeah, nothing she can do about it, but she did address it and talk about it, and I thought that that was pretty interesting. The fourth thing that she mentioned was that she is plant-based, and that is kind of a nicer way of saying a vegan, you know, eating a plant-based diet. And I didn't know that about her. I might have thought that about her, but I didn't know for sure. I do like the term plant-based. I think vegan has a lot of negative connotations with it, but she was asked about it and she answered, which is the opposite of the stereotype of a vegan, right? The stereotype of a vegan is they tell you they're a vegan 4 times a day, right? Fifth thing that she mentioned was that she may be doing some live streaming during the next debate. And I think that's a great idea. I think she could get a lot of views and a lot of attention by doing that. There's no specific thing set out at this moment, but when it gets closer to the debate next week, she'll have an announcement. And doing some live streaming, I think, would be fantastic. The sixth thing that she talked about that I found interesting, someone asked about her favorite Game of Thrones character. Now, I'm not a fan of Game of Thrones. I've seen one episode, I think, right? But she mentioned Arya Stark. She says that she's fierce, courageous, takes no shit, loyal, and always true to her principles. And I think that that's probably true about Tulsi as well. So that was kind of cool. The seventh thing that she mentioned was about American Samoa birthright citizenship. Now, if you don't know, Tulsi was born in American Samoa to American parents. Now, in American Samoa, it is part of the United States. It is a territory, but you're not automatically granted American citizenship if you're born there. I didn't know that. I actually lived in American Samoa in the 90s. In a previous life, I tracked satellites for the government, and I got to travel the globe, and American Samoa was one of the stations that I worked at. But I didn't even know that when I lived there. But her response is, should Congress do something about this? Should people born in American Samoa be granted American citizenship? And she said that American Samoa, that people there are divided on this issue, that Congress probably shouldn't come in from above and make decisions. It's something that should be worked out in American Samoa. They need to come to some kind of consensus on what they want and then move forward with that. So I thought that was interesting. The eighth thing, and this blew my mind, is that she says that she types at 140 words per minute, which is approximately over 100 words per minute more than I do. She says that she didn't have video games as a kid in the house. She had MS-DOS typing tutor, and that was the game that they had, and they would play, and she would type all the time, and that's how she got to be such a good typist. I thought that was really interesting. It's something I wish I would have learned. I guess I can still learn it now. The ninth thing from the Ask Me Anything I found interesting was someone asked her about her music choice. And she listed a lot of different things. You can look it up. But she talked about when she works out, she likes to have on the AC/DC channel on Pandora, which tells me that someone other than my dad is still using Pandora. But she also likes reggaeton, and I love reggaeton. I listen to it all the time, do that a lot in Zumba. And I thought that was cool, something I didn't know about her. And lastly, someone asked her about video games. She didn't play it as a kid. The one thing that she did play was Tekken, and her character was Eddie Gordo. I thought that was really cool. I remember playing Tekken. I remember Eddie Gordo. I remember the little dance that he did when he won a game or a fight, and I thought that was cool. So these are 10 different things that I learned from Tulsi Gabbard's Ask Me Anything on Reddit. Let me know what you think in the comments. What was one thing that surprised you that you learned today? Peace.